Because I never, for 28 years, I never sit on a table and consume a meal with my family. Never. We used to eat standing, or while I was walking around or driving. Junk food, you know, meat pie, sausage roll, biscuit, coffee. And after 28 years of that life culminated, I developed cancer of the liver. One night I was in such a pain, screaming. They took me to the hospital, and the doctor said, "This, I don't know, I can't find out what's wrong with this man, but he looked very sick. You better take him and have an X-ray tomorrow morning." And I refused to go. No, I can't be. No, I'm all right. I can't be sick. I didn't want to go. A month later, bang, I hit the floor again. They took me to hospital. I was lucky it was the same doctor on duty. The same doctor on duty. And he said, "I told you, don't bring this man here. He's very sick. Take him and have an X-ray." So the next morning I went and I had an X-ray. And the doctor could see my condition, and he said, he put in we want the result as fast as possible. We got the result in the same day, and the doctor rang my wife and said, "You come here, both of you, I'll have to talk to you." We went there, and he put straight to us. He said, "You got cancer of liver." And my wife started crying. Anyway, we went home, and he rang again, and "What are you going to do about it?" The doctor rang and said, "Come back and I'll tell you what we're going to do." I went there, and he drew on a piece of paper, a diagram. We're going to cut half the liver, half of the colon, we join the colon together. That made me more sick when I saw that. The way he was talking, like he was was going to fix his lawnmower, you know. Yeah. No, I said, "I'm not going to have any of that. No way." I went home and I rang a friend of mine. I said, "Frank, you know what happened? I was diagnosed with a cancer liver, and they want to operate me." He said, "Don't do it. They butcher you, they kill you."
That's right. I thought plenty of that.
I'll give you a number. And he gave my Cardiac Health Centre telephone number. I rang, and Doug Heaven answered the phone. And Doug said to me, "I'll give you a bed for tonight. And when the doctor comes tomorrow morning, Monday, he'll check you in, and he'll tell you if you can stay or not." So the next morning when the doctor came, he had me in his office. I brought all the report with me. And he looked at me, and he was mumbling something, looking at the pipe, the report, flipping over one after the other, and he wasn't saying nothing. I want to hear from him that, "Oh, it is not as bad as you think. You know, it's all right. You'll be all right here." And he wasn't saying anything. I said, "Doctor," I said, "can I ask a question?" He said, "Yeah, what is it?" I said, "A man of your experience," because I was told that he'd be doing that for 40 years then, 45 years. "What chance have I to overcome this condition?" His answer was very short. He looked at me and he said, He said, "What, the liver? 1 in a million." Well, I said, "I can be 1 in a million."
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You can be 1 in a million, but we can't keep you here. Yeah. I said, "Why not?" I was told that you are dealing with a case like mine, extreme case like mine. Yeah, but he said, "You guys is too extreme. Well, I'm not going to take any chance."
Yeah, he didn't want anybody dying on him.
And he was very short. He got up from his chair, and he walked towards the door, indicating, "I finished with you. What are you waiting for?" He said, "You've got to go." So I got up, I walked in my room. I didn't have the courage to ring my wife to come and pick me up and take me where? To the cemetery? I couldn't bring my wife. I sit there on the bed. There was another fellow, another sick person there, he had cancer too. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the doctor walked in, and he saw me there and he said, "Are you still here?" I said, "Doctor, I've got to know where to go." He said, "I'm sorry, if you're not out of here by 5 o'clock, I'll ring an ambulance and I'll send you to the nearest hospital." And he turned to attend to the other fellow. I got up and I waited at the door for him, and I said, "Doctor," I said, "there must be a way for you to keep me here." "Yeah," he said, "the only way that I can keep you here," he said, "you get your doctor to give you a referral And I realized what he was concerned. His concern was that he's an osteopathic doctor. He didn't have an authority to issue a death certificate for the undertake. And if I would have died there, he would have gone in for manslaughter.
Yep.
Got it?
Yes.
So I said, that's not a problem. I'll ring my doctor now. So I pick up the phone, I rang the doctor, and he said to me, "What are you?" I said to him, "I'm at the Arcadia Health Center." "You're supposed to be in the hospital. This afternoon you had to undergo surgery." He said, "Everything is booked, the specialist, everybody is, I'm going to send you a bill." I said, "Send me the bill, don't worry about it." I said, "I'm not coming, I'll stay here." I said, "I need the referral from you." He said, "I can't give a referral." I said, "Why not? You're my doctor." "No," I said, I don't even know what they do to you. How can I give a referral?" And he said to me, "You fool, what are you trying to do? You fool," and put the phone down. In other words, you haven't got far to go. You fool, what are you trying to do? And then I had to ring my wife and tell my wife what happened. My wife went there and he came back with a referral. He said, "No, I can't give a referral because for my daughter to give him a referral, he would have to admit that his diploma not worth nothing." That's what it boiled down to. His knowledge was nothing. He would have to refer me to a clinic, a private clinic, so he didn't give the referral to my wife. Then I rang my daughter and said, "Look, go there, don't sit there, and stand up in front of him and tell him this. This is a message from my father. You gave my father 6 weeks. Can he live the last 6 weeks of his life the way he chose?"
Good.
But don't say anymore because that put a lot of pressure on him. And my daughter said, he got up, he walked up and down, and then he mumbled something, and he got the pen and said, "Okay, here you are, back." So my wife sent someone, and he got there just before 5 o'clock at night. I gave the referral to Dr. Bert and said, "Okay, tomorrow we start the fast." So I started the fast. It's a lot I can say about fast, and most of you know about it.
No, not everybody.
He knows.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid when you mention fasting. Fasting has a bad connotation. Fasting means starvation. You know, people are afraid. But you can't starve the body because the body survives on something. The body survives on the reserve. For the first 3 days, it's got enough reserve in the liver. Okay? After 3 days, the body begins to break down the ketosic acid, the fatty acid. The critical part comes when after the body runs out all the reserve and begin to attack the muscles. That's when you've got to be under strict supervision, because once the body attacks the muscle, the process cannot be reversed. In 3 days, you're gone. You're gone.
So you need to do long fasts under supervision.
That's why it can never be recommended to do no more than 1 week fast by yourself. You've got to be under supervision. This fellow, he tried, and he made it. I think he done it 4 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't remember.
I've done 23 days of Alec Burton's.
Yeah.
That was my longest.
I've done 5
Okay.
days.
5 on water.
If you get up in the morning and drink a liter of alkaline water, and then you check your urine a couple of hours later, the urine comes clear, almost clear as water. And if you put a couple of drops of pH in the solution, it's almost alkaline. But if you keep drinking water the next day and stop eating, the urine starts to get very, very heavy color, very strong, yellow. And then if you keep drinking water and you stop eating completely, after 3-4 days, the urine stinks like buggery.
Because it's not until the evening of the 3rd day that the body completes digestion.
That's when the body
Previous
begins to break down the ketosic acid. And you put in a glass and let that reside. The next day you're going to have a look, and it's that much sediment on the bottom. Rubbish that come out. And it stinks. Terrible.
So how many days did you end up doing, Pat?
Right?
How many days did you end up doing on water at that time? How many days did you fast for?
How long?
That first time?
I've done 3 fasts there. The first time was 24 days.
The water's down there in front.
24 days. And then, because when I got there, I was very weak. I was very weak. And I couldn't take the long fast.
No, you've got to build up the vitality.
You know, the weakness is, you can't describe the weakness in words. I was so weak, I was like a candle in the wind. I was breathing like this. That was my breathing right. The short breathing in a short life. And the doctor said to me, we have to cut the fast. And I said, no, because I read Shelton's book, Fasting Can Save Your Life. That he said for an extreme case like mine, unless you fast for 6 weeks, you don't get good results. So mentally I was set up. I was set up to go for the fast.
Ready.
But physically, I was weak. And the doctor said, Pat, I know that you mentally you set up to go for the fast, but your body cannot make it. You will have to break the fast tomorrow morning. He said, what do you want? You want a juice or you want a fruit? I said, I want a tomato. And so the next morning they brought me a tomato. And when I bite it, I was very emotional. I started crying. I didn't know there was so much energy in a tomato. I felt like I was plugging in the pepper, you know, it's banging. I didn't know there was so much energy in a tomato, and I said, why we mash them? Why we cook them and put salt and this? It was so beautiful. Anyway, after the fast, then I had to stay there 3 months. After 6 weeks, I underwent another fast, another couple of weeks. Out of the fast, I learned a lot more after the fast, because at the clinic there was more than me. There was other there with me. And I could see what happened. There was one with me in the same room as I was Nabil. He was 20 years younger than me, and he had cancer. And he said to me, because I was older and I was weaker and I had to stay there longer, I stayed there 3.5 months. Nabil promised me, look Pat, when I get out, I'll come and see you. So one day Nabil showed up at the gate with a basket full of salami, pizza, cheese, olives. And we were lunchtime, we were eating outside under the tree, and we were having fruit for lunch.
Beautiful.
Or vegetables and nothing else. And I said to Nabil, I said, you're lucky the doctor's not here. If he would have seen you with that, he'd throw you out of the gate. I said, you know we don't eat this here. And I was sitting there eating, in my plate I had a tomato, a stick of celery, a carrot. And he said to me, don't tell me that when you go home you're going to live on that. I said, Nabil, for me, the most important is, primarily is to live. What I live on doesn't matter. And no, I said, you can't live on that. I said, I'll prove it to you. And you know, I wasn't able to prove to him.
He died.
He's gone. He went. And his mother rang him a couple of months later. He said, do you want to go to the funeral? He said, your friend passed away. I said, no, you bury him. And I didn't go. I was so upset when I heard. And then there was, I don't know if you remember, Herman Ladiston in Liverpool, the photographer in Liverpool Street, in Moore Street, Liverpool. Anybody remember? Herman Ladiston, Moore Street, Liverpool, he was the photographer. We were together in the same room. And when I read the report, the only difference was the name. It was exactly the same as mine, you know, the liver and blah, blah, blah. Exactly the same. And we came out of the clinic, and he kept saying to me, Pat, but the date that Dr. Burton gave us, because when we left there, Dr. Burton gives us a date. You know, this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for tea. And 25 years later, I'm still on that. I haven't altered nothing. He kept changing. He went to Germany, and then he came back, and he alarmed me. He said to me, Pat, he said, you know the date Dr. Burton gave us, where we got the protein from?
I was going to cover it.
And I went to Dr. Burton. I went there. I was serious. I was, Dr. Burton, I've got a question for you. He said, what is it? I said, where we get the protein from? He was busy, and he said to me, he liked this. Come on, Pat, the body makes protein out of water. I thought
So what, sorry?
Makes protein out of water.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I thought he wanted to just brush me off, you know. But you know, 20 years went by, and one day I picked up a book and he showed me how the body makes protein out of water. I got it in the car, sure, over here and show you. It's called Water of Life. The body makes protein out of water. It needs 70,000 molecules of water to overlay 1 molecule of protein, and you turn into protein. Unbelievable. Anyway, one day Herman rang me, his sister used to ring me, Pat, every time you come and see Herman, you feel better. And when you go down again. Come and visit him. So I went to visit him and I found him sitting on the bed, viewing all the report, past the report. And I said, Herman, what are you trying to do? I said, I throw them away. I've got nothing. I've got no record. I throw everything away. Because when I used to go for a checkup with Dr. Burton, when I came out of when I was at the clinic, someone brought me a book, and I was reading. Dr. Burton said, well, what do you got a book in your hands? I said, I'm reading it. What's wrong with this book? He said to me, the title, cancer something. I got the message. I need to disassociate myself with the conditions.
That's right.
That's it. So I threw the book away. And he was, a year later, Herman was still going over, reviewing all his reports. And I said to him, Herman, I throw them away. Look at me, I'm working and you're still in bed. And he said to me, Pat, maybe your case was not as bad as mine. You see what happened? You see what happened? You were trying to justify, Pat, if I die, there's a reason here. And I said, Herman, the intelligence of the healed body is not aware of small or big. When it switches on, culminate with the health, it doesn't matter what. Anyway, he passed away. There was another one, another Italian, and because his wife was French, we used to communicate in French. We became very close friends. He used to live in Hurstville, and his name was Rocco. And he was complaining all the time that they don't look after him, they deprive him of this, deprive him of that. And he rang his sister in Italy, in Napoli, and his sister got on the plane and come here, and she said, hands off, now I'll look after my brother, okay? And if she fed him whatever he wanted. 2 months she buried him and she went back to Italy.
But Pat, some people want to eat. They can't live. There are people that they live to eat.
That's all.
There are people like that, and I've known people that said, I don't want to live if that's all I can eat.
But I never looking back anymore. You know, I followed strictly the diet Dr. Burton gave me. Often people ask me, what do you eat? They want, look, I can't tell you my lifestyle. You have to build your own. Why ask me? My mother did know what was best for me. I couldn't ask her. I visited my mother 20 times while she was alive. She passed away in 2005. I used to go to Italy and spend a month with her every year. And when I get there, she knew my case, she knew my condition. She tried to push me, eat this, you got to have a bit of this, a bit of this, doesn't matter. So if my mother done what was good for me, well, if your own mother done what was good for you, why ask someone else? You have to experience, listen to your body. I'll give an example. When I give this to people, I formulated a little brochure here 20 years ago where I tell my story in a nutshell. And I say that I've altered my DNA.
That's right.
When I tell people this, they give some skeptical looks. So you alter your DNA? How you got your DNA? Well, I've gone back in history on this. If you remember, in the 50s, it was Crick and Watson who discovered the DNA. You remember the history? Crick and Watson. And boldly, arrogantly, Crick said, I have discovered the secret of eternal life. You remember this? That's what he said. Now the story of science is the story of they write off each other. They reward a scientist a Nobel Prize for inventing, creating something, and then another scientist comes 10 years later and he gets the Nobel Prize for proving that the other one was wrong. You see that? And it's gone on, it goes forever. It'll go forever, this. Okay? So he discovered the secret of eternal life. 10 years later, another fellow, another biologist by Leonard high flick. Anybody remember the high flicker limits? The high flicker limits? If you punch on the internet the high flicker limits, it pops up. The high flicker limits that Leonardo High Flick, he discovered, he said to him, you discovered nothing, because the DNA replicates for so many times, and then it's got a tag at the end that it won't duplicate anymore. So you discovered nothing. And then I'll be waiting, because I know that I was right. And I had to wait 20 years for some scientist to come along and vindicate that what I believed was right. I was not smarter than anyone else. I was in touch with every single cell of my body. That's what happened. And now we had, in the last 10 years, another biologist by the name Bruce Lipton. He wrote a book, New Biology.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it? There's DVD going around. And he wrote this book, The Biology of Believing. The Biology of Believing. Now, when Watson and Crick discovered the DNA, they conclude that the nucleus in the cell is the brain of the cell, and determine, and you stuck with what you have been born. You know, your genetic imprint, and you can't get out of there. You have to put up with that. Bruce Lipton, he discovered that the nucleus is not the brain of the cell. The membrane is. The membrane reads signal from the environment and keep imprinting genetic print on the DNA without nullifying or disturbing the code of the DNA. Keep adding. In other words, what I said there was right. I have altered my DNA. Okay? I didn't change my identity. My identity is still there. But the DNA, if this was not the case, how could we have evolved from primitive to full-blown human creature if the DNA could never be altered? Make sense? So the DNA can be altered, especially your lifestyle, your emotion, especially the emotion. You know, when you emotionally trick it off, the membrane registers the event in your life, whatever happened, is there. And that's what you pass on to your children. So I have altered my DNA. I have read, because I want to know what happened to me 25 years ago. One day I attended Dr. Burton, there was a meeting, and he said, Pat, I'd like you to come and share your experience. So I went. I went because I want to hear what he's got to say about me. And when he mentioned my name, what he said, if Pat is still here with us today, it's because, here, I got it here, he refused to go down. I said, no. Well, if this is the case, there's a consolation for everybody. The worst comes to the worst, you can always refuse to go down.
That's right. The will to live.
And when I heard that intrigued me more. How can I refuse to go down, you know? And then I read a book about scientists that said the only way to overcome this dreadful disease that people die every day of cancer is for one member of the human species to overcome, not by intervention, outside intervention like medication or drugs, surgery or chemo, by altering his DNA. And when I heard that, the jigsaw puzzle come together. I said, that's it. That's what I have done. And there's a DVD going around now. It's called The Living Matrix. Anybody saw it?
Yeah. No.
Very interesting. Get and watch it. The Living Matrix. And there vindicated what I always believed in. It's your intention. Your intention. When Dr. Burton said to me that if you're not here by 5 o'clock, I'll ring an ambulance and I'll send you to the nearest hospital, and he wanted a referral from my doctor, I realized straight away what was his concern. His concern was that if I died there, he would have to go outside and get someone to issue a death certificate, or he will be in for manslaughter. And I said, I look at, there was a window open, and the guy was up there like this. And I look him in the eyes and I said, Dr. Burton, I said, if you keep me here, I promise you, see the gate, I will walk out of the gate with my own feet. And I believe that when I said that, the self-healing mechanism in my body switched on and culminated under the right condition, culminated with the perfect health. I believe that. Because you have to ask yourself the question, if you go to the clinic I was 25 years ago, they give you water. If you have cancer, they give you water. If you got arthritis, they give you water. If you got cholesterol, they give you water. You got a high blood pressure, they give you water. You got low blood pressure, they give you water. Hang on.
Water's not the cure.
I was in the room with another three, and we all were there with a different condition. And one day we asked the question. We asked Doug. I said, Doug, how come we all get the same treatment? We all get water. He said, well, first of all, that's all we got here. We got nothing else. And second, he said, that's all the body needs. Water to flush out and clean up and then build it up again. Now, if you go to, lately I went to, because I'm always on the search, because I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to change this world and make a better place. That's my mission. Okay? I went to a Cessnock in a farm they call aromatherapy farming. You heard about aromatherapy?
Yes, yes.
Oma, how do you spell that?
Aromatherapy.
Homeo.
O-M-A?
It's homeo.
No, Oma.
Oh, it's
H-O-M-A.
Yeah,
H-O-H.
Anybody heard about
What's
it?
it?
Yes.
O-H-M-A?
I did the workshop in Sydney.
H-O-M-A. H-O-M-A.
Yeah.
So explain it. What is it?
You go there and they give you ashes. They got a kind of ashes, put in the, bring it. And I got DVD, 100 testimonial people, they got healed.
What are the ashes made from?
Huh?
What are the ashes made from?
Organic? Is it the organic soil?
They burn, yeah,
No,
they burn the cow dung, to tell you the
Okay.
truth. Cow dung,
Would you
they
like
burn.
Would you like me to explain it? Basically, you burn the cow dung just as the sun's coming up over the horizon, and you say sacred words, and then the energy comes into the fire, into the fire, and into the cow dung, and then you eat the cow dung.
It's energizing.
And it energizes it, and people swear by it all around the world. People have been healed from cancer and all sorts of things just by
No
drinking it.
magic fixes. No magic fix in the water
It's in
that he
India.
did. No magic in the
No,
cow dung.
it's
Okay, let me tell you. I got a friend of mine, he go to India every year. He go to India, and he wanted me to go with him. He said, he pay me the fee, I pay you. You come with me. There's a clinic, people queue up there, and when they come to their door, they give him half a glass of K-urine. They drink it, they walk away healed.
That's because it's acted like a placebo.
What's that? Half a glass of what?
K-urine.
Oh, cow urine. So, you know, it's, look, we used to do it in nursing. We give them a sugar tablet, and they thought they got a painkiller because they already had enough painkillers. Your mind is very powerful.
Look, I went to,
Both ways.
20 years ago, I received an invitation to attend a seminar in Rome. And I never remember that. It was the 17th of May, 1991 or 92. And I went there and I met more than 200 people like my case who healed themselves of the terminal disease, cancer. And I thought, well, these people, they must know all about the water, the fasting. And to my surprise, everyone stood up. I was there 4 days. Everybody stood up and tell their testimonial, their experience. And to my surprise, they all had different way to heal themselves. Some they did fasting. All together, all of them, they altered their lifestyle. But there was some of them who, one of them, he said, all he said, he sit next to the open fire night and day and look at the fire. And I was skeptical about it. I thought, no, not this
Someone
one.
walked through fire.
Not this
Someone
one.
walked on coals.
And look, 20 years went by, and finally one day I was walking around and I saw a book, Fire. I've got to get this book. I got it by Leonardo. I got the book. Sitting next to a open fire has an incredible healing effect and anti-aging.
Anti-aging.
Oh, anti-aging as well.
Oh,
Sitting next to an open fire. Another fellow gave his testimony. He said he visualized his tumor. He had a tumor in the life. He visualized the tumor. He was lying flat on the ground, bare chest, all day in the sun, and he was visualized the tumor being made of butter, and the sun was hitting and it was melting away, and his tumor disappeared.
Wonderful.
Now get this DVD, the matrix, the living matrix, a live telling experience of how a tumor in the brain disappear without nothing. Get it and watch it. Very interesting. Okay, now the question is, and I can go on others, I don't remember now, but I witnessed others who claimed they got healed. The question is, what is that actually heals the body? You ask yourself a question, what is that heal the body? It seems to me that the body, whoever invented this survival machine, the human body, must have been a genius. Because he fitted with a self-survival mechanism that when it switches on, it will culminate with the health and the healing. That's the only thing I can conclude. Okay? So, any questions?
So can you run through what Alex Burton tells you to eat through the day?
Pardon?
What did Alex Burton tell you to eat? What's your breakfast, what's your dinner, what's your tea?
I have had fruit for breakfast for the last 25 years. And mind you, I can eat McDonald's, but I need someone to convince me that it's better than fruit. Because in the morning when you get up, the body uses elimination, they call it elimination period, when the body eliminates toxins out of the system. If you overtakes your body with a protein or carbohydrate, well, the body hasn't got energy enough to eliminate. And so they accumulate the toxic, and when the accumulation of that, the liver switch them on to the kidney switch them on to the liver, and the liver can do two things, uric acid or fatty acid. Make little pockets here and there to save your life temporarily, and it all depends on where the body decided to store them in. They become a habit of the body. Michael Talbot in the book A Holographic Universe, he said that become a habit of the body. And if the body decides to deposit it there, he deposits it there day after day until they swell up, and then we call arthritis. If the body decides to deposit on the towel, we call gout. It's the same thing. The name doesn't matter.
Or a cyst. The body will encapsulate what it doesn't want to poison everywhere else in the body.
So how much fruit do you have for breakfast? What do you actually have for breakfast? Most days.
Fruit.
Yeah, what, fruit salad or what?
Fruit. This morning I had a mango. At lunchtime I had another mango. And then when I go home I have something else.
So you have fruit all day, that's all you eat?
Yeah, most of the day.
That's what Alex Burton told you to eat. Just
no, he said he gives fruit for breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay? And then for lunch you have your, whatever you eat, have your raw food first, and then you top it up with whatever you like, bread or pasta or potato.
Yeah, but how much later?
Huh?
Sometime later.
Yeah.
So I have a bowl of fruit every morning with warm water and lemon, because I choose to have that, because I eat healthily and I like it. But then maybe an hour later, I might have some spelt bread with honey on and a black coffee. So I'm actually damaging, I'm not doing my body any favours. I need to wait maybe longer. Do I need to wait longer, Pat, before I eat anything else?
Well, you have to listen to your body.
I was saying it's hungry.
The worst thing you can do is to put one food on top of the other. That's the worst thing you can do.
It's about an hour.
You'll have to make sure that the food is through. The fruit to go through quickly. Fruit is digested in the small intestine. Within 10 minutes it goes right out.
Bananas are a bit longer, I believe.
Yeah. Look, you have to become your own doctor. I had some bad experience even within my own family. You know, I said, read this and listen to that. Then when they're in trouble, they panic. They got to go to someone hoping he knows more than you, and they don't know more than you, because you have to become your own doctor.
So what do you have for tea then?
Huh?
What do you have of an evening then? What did Burton tell you to have in the evening?
For dinner.
Steamed vegetables, cooked vegetable, rice. I don't eat much bread. I eat the spelt bread. I buy the spelt at the market.
Spelt.
Spelt is the only grain that is not non-conforming of all the grain. Yeah, it's spelt. It's between the rice and the wheat. If you look at it, you can't tell the difference. And it's not non-conforming.
I think, Pat, what you mean, it's a wheat base, but spelt is the only one in the wheat family that isn't acid forming or not as high.
It's alkaline.
Because I didn't know until recently that bread is very acidic.
Yeah.
All grains are acidic.
Spelt bread is the original wheat.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
It's wheat, but it's not.
Could I just ask you, when you had the diagnosis of the terminal cancer, and you said that, because you said to the doctor, look, I'm going to walk out of this place, as a healthy man, you believed, and that turned it around. Did you have times where you had emotional breakdowns, where you sometimes at some stage had a doubt, and how did you deal with that?
You mean prior to that or after?
Well, as you were going through the treatment, I know at first your reaction was, I'm going to beat this.
Yeah.
But did you have times where you sort of felt like you thought, oh, I hope I'm going to beat this, but maybe I'm not, and you got very emotional or anything?
I had the priest and the minister that come to see me, okay? And the minister said, I'm not a religious person, but we have affiliation with the religious background, and we come from Italy, and the priest come to confess me. He wanted to pray for me, and I said, thank you for coming. And he said, I'll have to prepare you to meet the Lord. I said, but I'm not going anywhere. I said, I'll meet the Lord out in my family in a few weeks' time. Oh, yeah, okay. I never had doubt.
So it was full positive thinking?
Yeah.
Not a doubt in the world?
You have to,
Okay,
you have to develop a love for life first. And once you develop a love for life, then you want to experience life.
That's right.
Then you want to experience life. And the only way to experience life to full is to become, adapt a lifestyle that suits your body.
So it's fruit for breakfast, fruit for dinner, and steamed vegetables for tea. Is that right?
Look, when you got something to live for, you don't eat a lot. The golden rule is to your body weight. You weigh your body. If your body weighs 100 kilo, you divide it in half, and which will be 50. And out of the 50 kilo, you drink 1 ounce of water per kilo. That's
1 ounce per kilo.
1 ounce.
That's the golden rule. And of course, that depends on your diet. If you live on fruit and vegetables like I do, you don't need that much water, because 90%.
30 mils in 1 ounce.
What if you get very thirsty all the time? What if you get thirsty and you need water? Well, then you drink the night. Is that all right?
Yeah. I carry water with me all the time. I drink a lot of water. Yeah. I drink a bit of water.
Half your weight, so 50
kilos,
25
kilos. By the way, is that cancer still on your liver, do you know, or what?
And I find
Did the cancer clear up from your liver?
I don't drink the 2 litres.
Yeah, of course, if you look in my liver now, and I had some ultrasound about 10 years ago, there's still 7 big white spots like a 50 cents coin. I've got 7 spots there, they're still there.
How are they diagnosed? What kind of examination are they doing, Pat?
Hey?
What are they doing? MRI and ultrasound?
Yeah. Ultrasound about 10 years ago. And there's 10 white spots there. And I rang Dr. Burton and said, Dr. Burton, that white spot's in the liver. And he said to me, damaged tissue is damaged tissue. But they're not more active, there's no more activity there. Because when you fast, when you finish the fast, what happened? You stop the cancer cell. You create an environment there that the cancer is no longer comfortable to survive. They had to find a way out.
Sure.
And the calcium, the what they call him, the macrophage, they go there and they build a wall of calcium around it. They besiege it. They besiege. You know, when they besiege.
That's their job. The macrophages are the white
And
blood
that's it.
cells he's talking
And
about.
there's no more activity there. You got it?
How old were you, Pat?
When you were
How young were
diagnosed?
you when you were diagnosed?
But you said it was only
I was-
25 years ago.
I was 25 years ago.
That was then.
I was still, well, a lot of
It was
people say to
25 years
me,
ago when you saw the doctor.
That was
a lot of
then.
people say, when I promote water, I show this and I say, look, have a look at how old I was 25 years ago. I was very old back there, look. I look better now, 10 years younger.